What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. First things first, I want to say a massive thank you for hitting 2,000 subscribers on the channel. I really appreciate all the support that everyone's showing on the page. That's the first little milestone that I set myself as a target, so to get that so early on into my YouTube journey, honestly, it's a little bit surreal really. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that is showing all the support on the page. Now for today's video, 24 hours and my routine within that 24 hours up until kickoff tomorrow. So the time is 3 p.m. We've finished training for the day and tomorrow we have Rotherham. I almost keep saying Stevenage because of Steve Evans. Rotherham at home, which is going to be another tough game. I think they are about 17th or 18th in the league and we are 21st. So we're on a decent run at the minute in terms of the results that we're picking up. And we're getting a couple of clean sheets, which is nice as a defender, as that is something that we were struggling with originally. But tomorrow we know exactly what the game's going to be like. Rotherham are a big physical side. They're going to put it on us. They're going to try and run all over us. They're physical, they're athletic, that's their game. And Steve Evans, if anyone who knows football, knows about his teams, knows how he likes to set them up. They're going to be hard to play against. And probably come and try and sort of rough and tough us all up. So it will be a fight, it will be a physical game, but I personally love being involved in those games, especially as a defender. It means I'm going to be busy, it means I'm going to have a lot to do, and I like being involved in those sorts of games. So for today's video, I wanted to take you through my 24-hour routine from now until game day. So everything's going to be covered in terms of the foods that I eat, what I like to do with my mobility, how I sort of prepare myself both physically and mentally for a game, and everything that I do between now and kickoff as a professional footballer playing in League One. So like I said, training has been done today. Like I said, before that, I need to stop saying like I said. Before that was less or more than 24 hours, so I didn't film any of it. It is now 3 o'clock, which gives us bang on 24 hours until tomorrow's kickoff. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Now, up first on the agenda for a Friday, the day before a game, is Coffee Club. If you have been following the page for a while, you'll know that this is something that I do either by myself or with Charlie Barker, who is one of my centre-half partners, before a game. Now, Coffee Club obviously means coffee, and then I also treat myself to a cake. However, today is a slightly different option, as the coffee barista surprised me and also swayed me into a Terry's chocolate hot chocolate. So I was ordering my usual, which is a flat white and a piece of carrot cake, and the man behind the bar was like, do you want to try the Terry's chocolate orange hot chocolate instead? And I was like, you know what, go for it. So, taste test on this one up first. Oh, it is Terry's chocolatey, very Terry's chocolatey. Oh, I feel like I could neck that, but I don't really want to because it's a hot chocolate and I feel like that's a bit of a waste. I want to sip it slowly. But a very good start. And then, as always, I have opted for the world's best cake, which it's the carrot cake. I don't know if you can see that there. That is just sensational. It is not only the best carrot cake, but it is the best cake around, in my humble opinion. Now, this is, like I said, something that I do every Friday. It's a bit of a routine, and it sort of keeps me feeling a little bit fresh in a way, in all honesty, for games. Like I said, Monday to Friday my diet is really consistent, but then on a Friday I allow myself a little bit of a treat, which is the carrot cake. So it's a bit of mental satisfaction for me as well. Gives me a bit of a breather and a bit of a mental reset. I know I'm acting like I'm fully falling off my diet. It's literally just a piece of cake, but for me, little things like that make a big difference. So every Friday after training, I'll head to that coffee shop, stock up on some fuel, treat myself to a cake, and then it'll be all about going home and cooking up some proper dinner ahead of tomorrow's game. Training on a Friday is often a little bit lighter, so one thing on a Friday that I do after the training session is completed is do my own individual work as well. So I will try and clip a few of the things that I do on this video. It's literally just getting a couple of extra touches on the ball, a little kick-up routine, just a few little things that I like to highlight. Working on my touch is something that I've always done for years before a game. Like I said, if you've got that routine, I think it's important that it stays the same if it works for you, and it definitely works for me as a footballer. So they're the little things that I do after a game, whether it be going for a coffee, or doing additional work after training. Just little things that get me mentally and physically prepared for tomorrow's game. On that note, let's get cracking with the rest of the video, and I'll head home and start cooking up some proper fuel for tomorrow's match. So I know this is slightly later or slightly longer than 24 hours before a game, but this is something that I really wanted to touch on, as I believe it is so important as a footballer and as a professional athlete. Now, this is something that I neglected a lot of years ago, but this is something that I have now built into my routine, which takes up about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half each day. But this is one thing that I really start to focus on at the minute, and that is my flexibility and mobility work. Now, this is so important not only for before training, but before games as well. So this here was 10 o'clock in the morning before our training on Friday, and I personally spent a lot of time working on my weak areas in my body, so things like my hips, my groins and my glutes, which is one of the reasons again why I'm struggling with a little bit of a lower back issue. That is because things like my glutes, hips and groins have all been neglected over the years, which is why I try and put on tons of emphasis onto those parts of my body each morning before training. So if you are a footballer or you're someone that's wanting to improve at football, this is one thing that I would definitely recommend doing. Try and get into a routine that suits you best. So for me personally, I've got my whole routine planned out now, where I will head to training in the morning and then head straight into the gym by myself for about an hour to an hour and a half, just to get all of my work done and ticked off, which I need. Now, as well as flexibility and mobility work, I have also started incorporating activation exercises. Now, these are exercises that are essentially just going to fire up the muscles in your body that are slightly weaker than others. So again, for me, areas like my glutes and lower back are massive for this. So once I've done my flexibility and mobility work, which like I said takes me around about an hour, I'll then move on to my activation exercises. This again only takes me about 20 to 30 minutes, but it's a great thing to do before training, and especially before games as well, as it gets those muscles that potentially need a little bit more work in them and fired up and ready for training and for your games. Like I said, with this being done at around about 9:30 and 10 o'clock in the morning, I know it is slightly longer than 24 hours before a game for today's video. However, with it being such a big part of my lifestyle and routine, I thought it was really important to highlight and address it for today's video. Right, welcome back. The time is 3:30, which means it's our first or second proper meal of the day. So obviously breakfast this morning I cooked from home, and I'll always ensure that breakfast the day before a game is really healthy, high in carbs, good amount of protein again. And then other than the little bit of carrot cake that I have, my diet is still really clean throughout the rest of the day leading up to tomorrow's game, because it's so important as a footballer that you nail your nutrition. You know, tomorrow will be an intense game. I'll probably do around about 11 to 12 kilometers. So what I don't want to do is to sort of blow up in the last 20 minutes of the game. I need as much energy as possible. Things like cramp, hydration, all that sort of stuff is massive. So today is all about fueling up with the right amounts of foods, the right qualities of foods, part of the carrot cake, and ensuring that I'm fueled and ready for tomorrow's game. So tonight's first meal, as I'll have quite a few throughout the day, is a simple basmati rice and salmon fillets with a little bit of veg as well. Now, you'll see here that I'm using food scales, or I don't know if you'll be able to see it with the video, but essentially using food scales as an athlete or as someone that's trying to lose weight makes it an absolute game changer, because you know exactly what totals you're going to be consuming for that day. So there, I've just weighed out 80 grams of rice, and then here I'll be tracking 2 salmon fillets. Ugh, I need to get rid of this. That's from my bacon this morning, so that can go in the bin. But yeah, for today's meal, we are on 2 salmon fillets and 80 grams of rice with, come on, a little bit of veg. Now, I've had this meal numerous times, so it's about 700 calories. It's really healthy, it's got some good healthy fats in there, and it's also a decent amount of carbs with a decent amount of protein too. So it pretty much covers all bases for me ahead of tomorrow's game. Now, when it comes to nutrition as a footballer, the big thing to focus on the day before a game in particular is your amounts of carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates are essentially what is going to fuel you or give you the energy that you need for your game. I don't know if anyone else gets this, but with these little shaker things, it always gets stuck and it never comes out. And then now, it's really hard to control, its loads comes out. Anyway, the big thing for you to focus on is your carbohydrates. So that is essentially what's going to give you the energy for the games. Then tomorrow, after the game, it'll be all about protein intake. So protein is what is essentially responsible for your growth and repair of muscles. So when they break down tomorrow through 90 minutes of football, it's really important that you replenish those with your things that are high in protein. So your chicken, salmon, protein shakes, mince, protein bars, anything that has protein in. It's really important that you get those down you for growth and repair of muscles once the game is done. Like I said, today it's not too important. The big thing that we want to be focusing on is overall calories and carbohydrates. So this will take about half an hour to cook and bring everything together. And then this will be meal number 1 of the day, done by Chef Toby. Now, for those of you who don't know, I did do GCSE catering at school, so I actually do quite like cooking, and it keeps me busy. It keeps me off the streets, as some would say. It keeps me doing things that I should be doing, and I really like cooking. I've always done it. Like I said, had the A star in GCSE catering, so I don't mind cooking, and it keeps me busy, and I am a bit of a foodie, so I'm always trying new recipes, but this is a bit of a bog standard one, just because it's basic and simple ahead of tomorrow's game. So half an hour's cooking time, and that will be meal number 1 complete. And here we have it, lunch is prepared. So I don't know if you had to see this, 2 salmon fillets, 80 grams of rice, and a load of broccoli as well. So a decent amount of carbohydrates, but then healthy fats in there and protein too. Then I also have got this electrolyte packet, which essentially is just really good for hydration, which is so important the day before a game. So that is one thing that I try and have at least once a day, pretty much every day. And then there is a new one, where is it? Here. Which is this soccer supplement, collagen. So this is something that our sports performer, or sports performer, head of sports performance is given to us. So pre-activation or pre-sort of training, we'll have one of these. So I did have this before training today. I just wanted to bring one home for the morning tomorrow, and also to highlight the reasons why I'm taking it now. Apparently it's good for your sort of joints, for your body, before training. Essentially, if you've got niggles, it can just help ease those. So for me with my back, it's absolutely ideal. So 3rd meal of the day this is, because I had breakfast this morning at home, then obviously lunch at football, and then this is my 3rd meal, which I made myself. I'll get this down me, and then we'll get cracking with the rest of the day. You might have seen, ignore the Uggs by the way, these however were one of the best purchases that I've ever been given. If you are a man and are looking for a pair of slippers, I would definitely recommend Ugg slippers, because they are one of the comfiest things ever. Anyway, one thing that you may have seen from a previous video, I think I put it in the last one, are these recovery pants. Now, I use these quite often throughout the week, but in particular, the day before a game, I like to do a good 20 to 30, sometimes even 40 minutes on them. If you've seen other athletes using it, these are something that are quite sort of rife in football at the minute in terms of the recovery pants. Now, again, they are a bit of a personal favourite of mine. I personally feel so much better once I've done them and once I've used them. They're supposed to aid recovery, supposed to get some blood back flowing into the muscles, and it's an easy way for me to essentially get some recovery done whilst also just chilling out. It's not time consuming, I don't have to go anywhere to do it. I can literally just sit at home with the telly on and literally recover as best as I can. Now, one thing that I like to do when I'm doing this, it would help if I turn the plug on, is to just pull up clips of the team that we're going to be playing against. So analysis in football is absolutely massive, and it's something that's probably had a bit more emphasis put on it in the last couple of years, and that goes for me as well. So it's not something that I used to do a lot of, but the further up the leagues I've gone, the more I've realised that people do that. So on a Friday in particular, I will literally pull up the laptop, I'll get it up on my television, I'll get Y-Scout up and bring up clips of the people that I'm going to be playing against. So looking at the strikers, looking at how they play, looking at Rotherham as a sort of a unit, how they like to play football. So doing a little bit more extra work on top of what we've already done at football. I think it's good just to refresh yourself with the ideas so that you're ready and fully prepared for tomorrow's game. And like I said, it doesn't take up any of my time. Well, it does, that's not true, because I'll be here for about 20, 30 minutes, but it's not time consuming in the fact that I've got to go anywhere. It's all really handy for me. I can literally just do it from the comfort of my own home, on the couch whilst doing some recovery, and then I can go over some analysis work ahead of tomorrow. So like I said, I can look at the goals that they scored, look at the goals that they conceded, their sort of strengths and weaknesses in the front line, who I'm going to be playing up against, because I just think it puts you in much better stead for the game tomorrow if you are fully prepared, both mentally and physically. So like I said, I'll have these on for about 20 or 30 minutes just to get some blood flowing through the legs, aid that recovery ahead of tomorrow's game, and then we'll have one more meal and then we'll head to the gym for a little light upper body, which is something that I'll talk you through when we get there. Okay, training and the gym. Now, if you've been following for a while, you'll know that most of our sessions of football are done by our sports performance or head of sports performance, Ricky, where we'll often do about 2 sessions a week. However, me, myself, I like to do an additional few sessions each week, normally on a Monday and a Wednesday and a Friday in the gym as shown here. These sessions are always really light, which is why you never feel fatigued after it the day of a game. Literally just do a couple of upper body exercises, not compound lifts. These are all just small basic lifts, so like I said, won't cause any fatigue, but just help maintain that muscle mass that I've built up over the years. So 4 light exercises in the gym for tonight's session. Okay, here we are with the final meal of the day. Well, I say final meal, the final big meal of the day, and then I will have something else before bed, so a ton of food going into the system today. It'll literally be something like a bowl of cereal, something that's quick to get down me as easy calories, and again, just extra carbohydrates because I am a carbohydrate fiend the day before a game, as you are all well aware. So tonight's meal is one of my go-tos, is a sweet and sour chicken stir fry, so loads of veg, loads of chicken, loads of rice. It was in fact 80 grams of rice and 250 grams of chicken. Like I said, tons of protein in there, tons of carbohydrates, absolutely ideal, ready for tomorrow's game. If I don't have enough energy tomorrow, after all this food and after all this very good eating, I'm going to be very confused and very annoyed at myself. But as prep goes, happy with today in terms of what I've done. Like I said, a light gym session before. I did all my flexibility and agility, all my flexibility and mobility work down at training. Got the recovery pants on before. Tonight now it is literally just going to be a case of eating this last meal, having a little bit of chill time, because that is one thing that I do love doing the day or the night before a game, just having a couple of hours whilst I'm still by myself. Again, just get myself on the couch, relax, no phone, switch off, and get something like a film on. Feeling like Inception tonight, a really good film, something good, just for 2 hours, it's completely zone out, and then it'll be a case of just getting ready for bed, relaxing fully, and getting ready for tomorrow's game. Bedtime for myself the day before a game is normally about 11:30. I'm not a great sleeper the night before a game, probably just because, again, a little bit of nervous energy ahead of the game. It's something that I've always been used to, so my body clock is essentially used to waking up a little bit early on a Saturday compared to midweek. So the night before a game, I'll try and get 8 hours if I can, but I never stress too much if it's not like that, because I know as a result of me sort of having that nervous energy ready for a game, it might affect my sleep, so it's not the end of the world. But tomorrow, another busy day, and lots planned before, obviously the game, which I'll take you through again. But like I said, for now, time to eat this, get this down us, a little bit of chill time, and I'll catch you later on. Yes, everyone, excuse the fresh face. I am fresh out of the shower, but that'll be me clocking off now until tomorrow. So the time is 10 o'clock. I've just got myself into bed, obviously a lot earlier than I previously stated. I was saying, like, oh, I don't fall asleep until 11:30. But I am in bed a little bit earlier than planned. Probably won't actually fall asleep till later. So there are a few things that I'm going to get done now in bed, which does still help me prepare for tomorrow's game. So up first is reading. Now, this is something that I've incorporated into my day-to-day routine a little bit more. Obviously with me doing my online coaching work and putting content out there, I spend a lot of my time on my phone. So I try and get into the habit of that once I'm in bed, I have at least an hour or an hour and a half before I try and fall asleep, with no screen time, no phones, just literally something completely off what I'd normally do. So things like reading, just to de-stress the mind, declutter the mind a little bit, and I always find that it helps me sleep so much better too. Then 2 other little things, which are recent purchases. Number 1, mouth tape. Now that's not a gift from my missus to keep me quiet. It is literally something that goes across your mouth, and basically it stops you breathing. Well, it doesn't stop you breathing because then you die. It makes you breathe through your nose, which is supposed to increase oxygen to your brain, so as a result you feel fresher in the morning. And then the same for these little bad boys, Air Max pads, which are little strips that go across your nose. And when I first heard about those, I was like, no, not a chance they couldn't work. But I tried that for the first time last night, and oh my, what a game changer. I put it on and my nose was literally like just breathing in all this fresh air to parts of my brain that's probably never ever had it before. So mouth tape, nose strips, and reading are my 3 little things that I've been incorporating into my evening routines, on top of what I already do as well. So I'm going to have a little read of this, probably for about half an hour to an hour, then try and get some shut eye. So I will catch up with you tomorrow, where in all honesty, that is just about keeping myself busy, keeping my mind away from the game, keeping myself distracted. So it should be a fun little morning, which I'll take you along with me for. So on that note, I'm going to hit the hay, and I will see you tomorrow. Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. It is game day, and first things first, to kick off the morning, whenever it's game day, is the greatest recipe, Nutella porridge. Now, have a look at that. That might not look like your healthiest meal, excuse me. However, for me, it works absolutely perfectly. The day of a game, I struggle to get calories in, whereas Nutella porridge, it's got a sort of a bit of a sweet kick in it, so it's easy for me to get down. It's good carbs in terms of the oats, so it's good calories before a game. And for me, like I said, it's easy for me to get in, it's easy for me to digest, so it works wonders before my game. Like I said, Rotherham at home today, should be a very tough game. The weather is absolutely horrendous this morning. I woke up, pulled the curtains back expecting to see bright sunshine. Instead, we've got grey skies, tons of wind and a load of rain. So that's not ideal, but hopefully a good game today and 3 points for the boys. Two other things which I also have the morning of a game: beetroot juice and also my cranberry juice. So I've touched on that before in a video, but I try and have those pretty much every day and every morning. And then two more things. God, just so much to go through with you this morning. Two more things which I also have, which are new to my routine. 10% Club Brain Boost. Now, this isn't like a sponsor post or anything. This is me. I buy this with my own money. I really like their supplements. This is like a brain boost one. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called like Lion's Mane and then Irish Sea Moss. I remember when I first heard about that, I was like, sea moss? Not sure I fancy that, but it's tablet form, so don't worry, you're not going to basically get a load of seaweed or sea moss in your mouth. But that basically kickstarts my morning. Like I said, a healthy breakfast, decent amount of calories ahead of the game. So I'm going to get this down me, and then time for the best part of the morning, which is heading out for a coffee, because if you've followed this channel for a while, you know how much I love coffee. So that's going to kickstart my morning. I'll catch you there.
Hey people, hold on a second.
Cool design of the cat. Right everyone, that wraps up another video for today. So the time is 11 o'clock and I've got to head down to the stadium now. Kick-off today is at 3. So this morning, whenever I've got a game at home, I like to just get myself out and about, into Brighton, potter around, keep myself busy and keep my mind sort of away from football. So I went down for a coffee. I was unable to film just because it was so windy. A few years ago, I would have hated the fact that it was windy because my hair had been blowing everywhere and I've been walking around like this, trying to cover up my receding patches. But that's all sorted now, thankfully. So on to better things. But for today, like I said, just getting a coffee down in Brighton, keeping myself busy, and then heading back home, a little bit of light food, and then ready to go down to the stadium. So the time is 11 o'clock. Got to be down at the stadium in an hour's time, so I'll be heading off there now, ready for a big game against Rotherham. I almost keep saying Stevenage again because of Steve Evans, but hopefully 3 points. And thank you all for watching and staying tuned. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.